main role as chairman is really to guide and coordinate the work of the committee and to create the conditions in which there can be a consensus on the approach in any given meeting and across the spectrum of the work of the PAC to determine the sequence of institutions that we will examine, and also to ensure that the committee operates as a parliamentary committee that is bipartisan and non-partisan in nature, and that addresses the issues of government spending and accountability in a responsible way. Well, you have an equal number of members from the Senate and from the House of Representatives, but by constitution, the chairman of the committee is from the opposition, which is the role that I fill. And in terms of mix, you have 5 government members and you have 1 independent member and 2 members of the opposition. Our mandate covers all the ministries involved in the expenditure of public money. They involve as well some of the statutory agencies. There's a joint select committee for state enterprises, and they have oversight over the state enterprises. We handle the ministries and some statutory agencies. Well, what we do, we meet as a body outside of the public glare, and we basically start, you might say, with the auditor's report for a given year and the issues emanating from that in relation to various entities. And then we try to create a structure for the management of the engagement, first of all with the Auditor General, which would mean a general discussion about the entire report for a given year. So far we have done 2014 and we have done 2015 as well, so we are current. But then what happens is that you have to determine what are some of the issues that have been flagged in the report and that merit consideration in a careful way, and how you are going to sequence the flow of those entities covered by the Auditor General's report so that the public and the committee can get the benefit of engagement with these entities. No, we meet with the Auditor General, but then we meet with different institutions. For instance, we've met with the Ministry of Tourism, we've met with the Ministry of Energy. Next session, at the end of June, we are going to meet with the Ministry of Finance. We have in mind to meet with the Inland Revenue. We've met with the Tobago House of Assembly. You know, so basically we try to manage things so that we get an overarching view from the Auditor General through his report and through direct engagement with the Auditor General and staff. And then what we do is we invite individual entities and we engage them on the specific things that are mentioned in the Auditor General's report. And if there is a necessity for follow-up, we write and ask questions. For instance, through the Secretary, we wrote to the Governor of the Central Bank to clarify some information, and he responded with the clarification. We wrote to the Commissioner of Police on a matter related to the Ministry of Tourism, and he responded. And basically we follow up as required. If we need to write to a permanent secretary or we need to write to some chief executive officer or etc., we will do that. We have done that. We've had 11 so far, and we're going to do the 12th at the end of June. It is possible that we might have a 13th, I think. So for this particular session of Parliament, in the 11th Parliament, we've had about 10 sessions, and we'll probably end up with 12 or 13 before the session is over. Well, it's very difficult to say now because we are young in this phase of the PAC. This is the first session of the 11th Parliament, and we have examined a handful of entities. There are other challenges too. The Auditor General clearly has peculiar challenges, which is that he can flag in his report certain things, and he can raise the issues of compliance and non-compliance, and he can flag issues where he sees that there are difficulties, discrepancies, bad practice, etc. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is up to the accounting officer to do it. I think one of the challenges that the PAC will have to address is how does the PAC ensure, as a parliamentary committee, responsibility for accountability for public finances? How does the PAC ensure that things that have gone wrong are not repeated, and that things that need to be corrected are in fact corrected? And we will have to explore that possibility as a committee. Well, the future plans of the committee, now that we have done both the 2014 and 2015 Auditor General's report and have engaged the Auditor General, is to go deeper now into these entities. We are going with the Ministry of Finance next. We'll get an overarching view of what's happening in the financial ministry, including we are going to ask the Comptroller of Accounts to come in, and we are going to get a sense of not just the Auditor General, but the relationship between the Comptroller of Accounts and how monies are expended, and how you have accountability in the system, and how you ensure compliance and things like that. But following that, a tension has emerged between the Auditor General and the Inland Revenue Division, in which over the issue of access, which is to say how much access can the Auditor General have and how much confidentiality does the Board of Inland Revenue need. And that has emerged as a source of tension, so we are also going to ask the Inland Revenue Division to come in so that we can appreciate it from different angles, from different points of view. And then we are going to drill deeper now into the reports of the Auditor General with specific focus on individual entities. And we have identified a number of ministries and other institutions that we are going to see.